Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today's Thursday, May 16th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NBA and Stanley Cup playoff conference final games, look ahead to tonight's games in both those sports, go over yesterday's baseball games, look ahead to today's games, do my latest NBA mock draft. We have some NFL news to get to, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start with the NBA playoffs conference finals. Game 1 in the East, it kind of went exactly how I thought it would go in terms of the number of points the Bucks would win by, but except I thought the Bucks would have the lead majority of it and not Toronto. So the Bucks get the 108-100 victory, 1-0 lead in the series. Brook Lopez had the best game of his playoff life. He had 29 points and 11 boards. Giannis had 24, 14, and 6. Nikola Mirotic had 13. Chris Middleton only had 11. Malcolm Brogdon off the bench had 15. On the other side, Pascal Siakam only had 15. Kawhi Leonard had 31. He was great. Kyle Lowry had 30. He had his best playoff game I could remember. And the rest of the supporting cast no-showed. No Fred VanVleet, no Serge Ibaka, no Norman Powell. They're all bad. And meanwhile, the Bucks bench, Malcolm Brogdon provided the bench minutes for them. George Hill was a 0, but the Bucks still get the win nonetheless. They have a 1-0 series lead. And now tonight, 9 o'clock, ESPN, Trailblazers, Warriors, Golden State's favored by 7, Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Doris Burke on the call. It's going to be a fun game, too. This is a tough call. I wanted to make a prediction and say the Blazers would win. I want to pick it so bad. But I just can't. I don't have the balls to do it. I'm going to do the same pick I made last time, except that I actually think it will happen, and Portland will play better, except I think the Warriors will win a close game, 117-112. Warriors go up 2-0 in this best-of-7 series, although I don't feel super about it, because I think that the Blazers are going to come out with something to prove. I think that the Warriors will win the game in close fashion. All right, Stanley Cup. We had a great game last night in St. Louis as the Sharks defeat the Blues 5-4 in overtime. San Jose takes a 2-1 series lead, but the overtime goal came with a little controversy because there was a hand pass that the refs missed, which led to the overtime goal, and the Blues have every right to be upset about it. If they lose the series, they're going to look back on that and say, what if? The Sharks actually got the scoring going first in the first period. Erik Karlsson first of the game, first of the postseason. 1-0 Sharks. Joe Thornton third of the postseason. 2-0 Sharks. Second period, Alex Steen puts the Blues on the board with his second of the postseason. Joe Thornton's fourth of the postseason puts the Sharks up 3-1. Vlad Tarasenko, sixth of the postseason, makes it 3-2. David Perron's fourth of the postseason ties it up at 3 apiece. David Perron again on the power play, second of the game, fifth of the postseason, 4-3 Blues. Logan Couture, almost at the 19-minute mark, his 14th of the postseason, ties it up at 4 apiece. And then in overtime, 5 minutes and 23 seconds in, Erik Karlsson with the goal that shouldn't have counted, his second of the game, second of the postseason. 5-4 Sharks is your final. Karlsson was the number 1 star of the game with his 2 goals. David Perron was number 2 star of the game with his 2 goals. And Joe Thornton was the number 3 star of the game with his 2 goals and his assist. So hopefully the Blues can rebound from this, and it'd be unfortunate if they lost this series, because a lot of folks will point to that as to why. Now tonight, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Bruins and the Hurricanes, 8 o'clock NBCSN. Doc Emrick, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher on the call. Do I think Boston closes out tonight and gets the sweep, or does Carolina steal a game and make this a little interesting? I'm going to say that Carolina steals this game and makes it a little interesting for now. I do think Boston will win the series, but I just think that the Hurricanes, probably their last home game, will come out with some fire, and that crowd's going to be behind them. Tuukka Rask is just a monster and has been a monster in this postseason. Him and Logan Couture have to be the favorites for the Conn Smythe Award. Me and my buddy Derek talked about that yesterday when I had him on. And I think that the Hurricanes come out and play well, and I think they'll win the game. Give me 3-1 Carolina. I think that whoever is in net for Carolina plays a good game, and Tuukka Rask is just due for a shaky game by his standards. So give me the Hurricanes to get going here a little bit, to get on the board in the series. On to baseball. Going to go over yesterday's games. Twins over the Angels 8-7. The Twins are 27-15. Angels 20-23. Jake Odorizzi gets the win. Trevor Cahill the loss. And getting the save for the Twins, Mike Morin. Yankees over the Orioles 5-3 in game one of their doubleheader. The Yanks 25-16. Baltimore 14-27. J Happ the win. He's 3-3. David Hess the loss 1-5. Aroldis Chapman gets his 10th save of the season. Diamondbacks over the Pirates 11-1. Diamondbacks with an impressive win there, to 24-20. Pittsburgh's 21-19. Zach Greinke to win 6-1. Chris Archer to loss 1-3. Giants over the Blue Jays 4-3. San Francisco's 18-24. Toronto 17-25. Mark Melancon the win 1-0. Ryan Tepera the loss 0-2. Will Smith gets his 11th save of the season. Game 2 of the doubleheader, Yankees over the Orioles 3-1. So the Yanks get the sweep. They're 26-16. Baltimore's 14-28. Domingo Germán gets the win. He's 8-1. Andrew Cashner lost 4-2. Aroldis Chapman gets his 11th save of the season. Reds over the Cubs 6-5 in 10 innings on a walk-off single by Yasiel Puig. Cincinnati's 19-24. Chicago's 25-15. Amir Garrett the win. He's 3-1. Brad Brock the loss 3-1. Nats over the Mets 5-1. The Nationals are 17-25. The Mets are 20-21. Patrick Corbin the win. He's 4-1. Wilmer Font the loss 0-1. Brewers over the Phillies 5-2. The Brewers are 26-19. Philly 24-18. Joe Gonzalez the win 2-0. Jake Arrieta the loss 4-4. Josh Hader gets his 11th save of the season. Red Sox over the Rockies 6-5 in 10 innings. This game ended on a walk-off single by Michael Chavis. Boston's 23-20. Colorado's 20-22. Brendan Workman the win. He's 3-1. Chad Bettis the loss 1-3. Astros over the Tigers 5-1. The Astros are 29-15. Detroit 18-23. Justin Verlander to win 7-1. Gregory Soto the loss 0-2. Rays over the Marlins 1-0. Tampa Bay 26-15. Miami 10-31. Jalen Beeks to win 3-0. Jose Reyna the loss 1-6. Diego Castillo gets his 5th save of the season. Braves over the Cardinals 4-0. The Braves are 22-21. St. Louis 23-20. Mike Soroka to win 4-1. Michael Wacha the loss 3-1. Luke Jackson gets his 5th save of the year. Rangers over the Royals 6-1. The Rangers are 18-22. KC 15-28. Mike Minor to win 4-3. Jorge Lopez the loss 0-5. Dodgers over the Padres 2-0. The Dodgers are 29-16. The Padres are 22-21. Kenta Maeda to win 5-2. Matt Strom the loss 1-3. Kenley Jansen gets his 14th save of the season. Only 10 games on the slate today because some teams are traveling, some teams are off. 4 games underway right now. Mets, Nationals, Brewers, Phillies, Athletics, Tigers, and the Rangers and the Royals. 6 o'clock you have the Orioles at the Indians. Dan Straley and Trevor Bauer. Cubs at the Reds at 6:30. Jose Quintana and Luis Castillo. That's a nice pitching matchup. Cardinals, Braves. Adam Wainwright and Julio Teheran. That's a 7:20 game. At 8 o'clock, Blue Jays, White Sox. Marcus Stroman and Dylan Covey. 10 o'clock, Twins, Mariners. Michael Pineda and Eric Swanson. And Pirates, Padres. You have Trevor Williams and Eric Lauer. All right, now I'm going to go over some NFL news. We talked about it with my guests yesterday in Jeff Maglicetti and Derek Felix. The Jets fired Mike Maccagnan. This came out of nowhere, but at the same time, it wasn't shocking to me because, as I said to Derek, sometimes when you hear a rumor about something for a little while that somebody's on the hot seat or whatever, and you hear it from multiple sources, then it's most likely true. And the Jets, yet again, proved that to us yesterday with the firing of Maccagnan. And to me, I think Maccagnan actually did a good job this year, especially. And last year after the Giants passed on Sam Darnold, he takes him with the third pick. And then this year, Quinnen Williams falls to him at 3. And obviously a few years ago, Jamal Adams fell to him. And then he signed Le'Veon Bell this winter in free agency, which he probably is overpaid, but I think he'll help Sam Darnold in that offense. And he improved the offensive line. And he did some good things, but sometimes power struggles happen, and the coach happened to win over the GM. And then yesterday, after Maccagnan's dismissal, the Jets traded away linebacker Darren Lee to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 6th-round pick. That's a nice trade for Kansas City. I'm strongly considering picking them as my AFC representative in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is obviously the best quarterback in the league right now. They improved their defense despite trading away Dee Ford. They brought in some nice pieces like Lee, and they traded for the guy from Seattle, I'm blanking on his name, and then they brought in Tyrann Mathieu. Those are 3 big additions to that defense. They made some good draftings as well, and I really think that the Chiefs have to be considered the team to beat in the AFC, despite the ongoing situation with Tyreek Hill, which is obviously not ideal, but Mahomes is just that special. And I think he is somebody that got a lot out of not much depth on that team. So they're certainly in the conversation to come out of the AFC. And then back to the Jets for a second. The hot name that is out there to replace Mike Maccagnan is Philadelphia Eagles Vice President Joe Douglas. And my buddy Incarcerated Bob on Twitter posted that Douglas is finalizing a deal to become the new Jets general manager. I like Bob's work, and he's been right on a lot of things, but I need to see confirmation from Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport before I can confirm this personally. Although, like I said, Bob's been on top of stuff before. I just need to see confirmed from the big boys like Schefter and Rappaport to believe that. But I do believe Bob's right in the sense that he'll get the job, but I don't think it's a done deal yet per se. So that would be a nice hire because the Eagles, whoever comes out of that tree, has been pretty successful, whether it's been front office or coaching. Just see Frank Reich, who obviously was the offensive coordinator in Philly, goes and gets the Indy job, and really, although they drafted well and Andrew Luck's back and healthy, but he did a great job in year 1 at the helm in Indianapolis, so I guess that's good if you want some track record on guys that come from the Eagles organization have done lately. And my next thing that I want to get to, Patrick Peterson suspended 6 games to start the season due to failing the drug policy. This is a big loss for the Cardinals. Yeah, the Cardinals are going to be bad anyway, but this makes things a little more difficult for them. He's obviously their best player in terms of defensive players and arguably their best all-around player, although someone's going to argue David Johnson. Somebody will even argue Kyler Murray now for what it's worth. But Patrick Peterson's obviously their best defensive player, and he'll be missed in that secondary to start the season. And now I'm going to do my NBA mock draft, my third one, the first one I've done since the lottery. And without further ado, here we go. Number 1, New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson, power forward center, Duke. The Pelicans are massive winners here for landing the best prospect since LeBron James. Unfortunately, Anthony Davis still wants out of New Orleans, and maybe they ship him to New York or Los Angeles for a bunch of young assets in either the 3rd or 4th pick of the draft. That said, assuming they move on from Davis, they can start fresh with Williamson on board. 2, Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, point guard, Murray State. The Grizzlies are big winners here as they jump to 2. Morant is somebody that people are down on due to weaker competition, but he really showed that he can be the real deal. Assuming he is the selection, he'd be the perfect replacement for Mike Conley, who they can trade this offseason for more assets to build around. 3. New York Knicks. R.J. Barrett, shooting guard, small forward, Duke. Barrett was the preseason top prospect before Zion broke onto the scenes and wowed everyone. He was overshadowed due to Zion's presence on the team, but he's had his moments, both good and bad. There is the possibility that the Knicks move this pick in a possible Anthony Davis trade, which would be a win for both parties involved, as the Knicks would have a star to possibly pair with Kevin Durant if he signs in New York. 4. Los Angeles Lakers. DeAndre Hunter, small forward, power forward, Virginia. Hunter is somebody that was excellent in Virginia's run to the title last season. His stock rose in light of it. I like Hunter, and I believe he could surprise some folks as a rookie because of his fine two-way play. There's a distinct possibility, though, that this pick is shopped, though, as they find another star to pair with LeBron James. 5. Cleveland Cavaliers. Jarrett Culver, shooting guard, Texas Tech. The Cavaliers are one of the lottery losers as they drop from 2 to 5. Culver is somebody that had a sensational sophomore season to become a projected top lottery pick. He's somebody that could shoot the ball and rebound well for his position. He and Colin Sexton would make an interesting backcourt. 6. Phoenix Suns. Darius Garland, point guard, Vanderbilt. The Suns were another lottery loser as they dropped from 3 to 6. Their biggest need coming into the offseason was a point guard, and they land one here with Garland. He did only play in 5 games this past season due to a knee injury that he suffered. A backcourt with him and Devin Booker would be interesting. 7. Chicago Bulls. Kobe White, point guard, shooting guard, North Carolina. The Bulls dropped from 4 to 7, which is not ideal for them. This would be an interesting selection considering that Chris Dunn is already on this roster. White is somebody who was great in his lone collegiate season, and that's what got him to this position. He and Zach LaVine would be an interesting backcourt pairing. 8. Atlanta Hawks. Cam Reddish, small forward, Duke. Reddish, like R.J. Barrett, is somebody that was overshadowed on the Blue Devil squad because of Zion's presence. Reddish did not shoot the ball well at times throughout the season, and he needs to develop that consistent shot in the pros. If he does that, then the Hawks got themselves another building block to go with the rest of their young core. 9. Washington Wizards. Bull, center, Oregon. The lotteries were another lottery loser as they fell from 6 to 9. Bull is somebody that is very talented but has major bust potential. He did miss a lot of the season with the foot injury. He can protect the rim and shoot the 3-ball pretty well, too, for a 7-footer. 10. Atlanta Hawks from the Dallas Mavericks. Romeo Langford, shooting guard, Indiana. Langford is somebody that dealt with a torn labrum this past season, which probably held him back in college. He did not shoot the ball well last season, but if that improves, maybe the Hawks find the backcourt mate for Trae Young. 11. Minnesota Timberwolves. Sekou Doumbouya, shooting guard, small forward, France. Doumbouya is somebody that showed a good jump shot and quality defensive play, too. The defensive side needs to be more proven once he is in the league full-time. He's somebody that will probably be a bench player for the Timberwolves that could see G League time if he needs more development time. 12. Charlotte Hornets. Jackson Hayes, center, Texas. Hayes is somebody who developed later on in high school and carried it over to college. He shot from a high percentage this past season and showed an ability to protect the rim. In this scenario, he'd come in and probably come off the bench behind Frank Kaminsky unless the team finally moves on from him. 13. Miami Heat. Kevin Porter Jr., shooting guard, USC. Porter is somebody that's a lottery talent that could very well drop into the 20s due to the injuries and suspension he had in college. If Porter lives up to the expectations he was given before college, the Heat could be getting themselves a player. 14. The Boston Celtics from the Sacramento Kings. Brandon Clark, power forward, Gonzaga. The Celtics have some options here as they can trade the pick for something else or just simply take who they feel is the best player available. Clark provides energy and great two-way play, and he is somebody analytic nerds will love with his high PER this past college season. 15. Detroit Pistons. Tyler Herro, shooting guard, Kentucky. Herro is somebody that is a very fast riser of late. He's somebody that can flat out shoot the ball, and the Pistons are a team that badly needs perimeter shooting. If they take Herro, it would not shock me if he ends up being a big contributor immediately. 16. Orlando Magic. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, shooting guard, Virginia Tech. Alexander-Walker had a great sophomore season to improve his draft stock. What makes him a hot commodity is that he can guard multiple positions and play on and off the ball. The Magic are a team that needs good two-way guard help, and Alexander-Walker can provide that. 17, Brooklyn Nets. P.J. Washington, power forward, Kentucky. The Nets finally owned their first-round pick after years of paying for the trade they made back in 2013 with the Celtics. Washington is someone that has the talent of a lottery pick with his ability to stretch the floor. The Nets also have a need at the position, and Washington could possibly start for them down the road. 18, Indiana Pacers. Rui Hachimura, small forward, Gonzaga. Hachimura is somebody that is super talented and really took his game a notch this past season. The Pacers' depth at wing outside of Victor Oladipo is thin, especially if they let go of Bojan Bogdanovic this summer. Hachimura is somebody that would probably start out as a bench player and develop his way into a starter. 19, San Antonio Spurs. Keldon Johnson, shooting guard, small forward, Kentucky. The Spurs are a team that is very guard heavy and pretty big man heavy. Where they lack is forward depth, and Johnson is somebody that can come in and develop with a team that is notoriously known for developing well. He can shoot the three ball well, but he needs to develop more defensively, which the Spurs can help him with. 20, Boston Celtics from the Los Angeles Clippers. Ty Jerome, point guard, shooting guard, Virginia. Jerome is somebody that was very good in Virginia's championship run. He's somebody that is versatile and can defend multiple positions very well. The Celtics might lose Kyrie Irving this summer, so they can use more depth and versatility at the position. 21, Oklahoma City Thunder. Matisse Thybulle, small forward, Washington. Thybulle is somebody who was curiously left off the NBA Combine list, but has the talent to be a first-round pick. He's somebody that showed fine two-way play with solid three-point shooting and great defensive instincts. 22, Boston Celtics. Nasir Little, small forward, North Carolina. Little is somebody who had an uneven season with North Carolina to the point Kobe White became the best freshman on the team. He showed flashes of good shooting and always has been a great athlete. He has lottery talent. If he lives up to capability, the Celtics got themselves a player. 23, Utah Jazz. Admiral Schofield, shooting guard, Tennessee. Schofield was great this past season in college with his dedication and hard work. He is somebody that can shoot the three ball well and rebounds well for his position. This would be a solid pick for the Jazz, and he'd be somebody that would provide energy off the bench. 24, Philadelphia 76ers. Grant Williams, power forward, Tennessee. Williams, the two-time SEC Player of the Year, ends up in the area where he should be picked. He's somebody who isn't an athlete or has a good perimeter game, but he can score in the post and could adjust to the league better than people think. 25, Portland Trailblazers. Cameron Johnson, small forward, North Carolina. Johnson is somebody that was a very steady player in college for the Tar Heels. He's somebody that can defend pretty well and shoot the three ball well. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes higher than this or if he goes in the second round. 26, Cleveland Cavaliers from the Houston Rockets. Talen Horton-Tucker, shooting guard, small forward, Iowa State. Horton-Tucker is somebody that had a very good year with the Cyclones this past season as a freshman, which got him to this position. The Cavs are a team that could afford to take chances on overachievers, and Horton-Tucker would be someone that would provide solid minutes for them. 27, the Brooklyn Nets from the Denver Nuggets. KZ Okpala, small forward, Stanford. Okpala is somebody whose stock is rising at the moment due to his length and wingspan. The Nets could use some depth at the wing position, and Okpala could be a bench guy for them and provide valuable minutes. 28, Golden State Warriors. Bruno Fernando, center, Maryland. Fernando is somebody that has tantalizing upside that averaged a double-double this past season. He has an NBA-ready body and could be a contributor for the Warriors off the bench. 29, San Antonio Spurs from the Toronto Raptors. Dylan Windler, shooting guard, small forward, Belmont. Windler is somebody that is very underrated coming into the draft. He's someone that can fly out score, shoot it from three, and space the floor well. 30, Milwaukee Bucks. Daniel Gafford, center, Arkansas. Gafford is somebody that could have been drafted last year, but decided to come back to school for his sophomore season. He has tantalizing upside and is somebody that, if the Bucks were to take here, would make a possible immediate contribution, especially if Brook Lopez bolts this summer in free agency. And last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. Just 4 teams Just wagered 65 cents, plus 550 odds, payout of $4.23. The Phillies, who are playing right now against the Brewers. The Indians, who are playing later today. They're playing a bad team. I just can't think of who on the top of my head. Oh, it's the Orioles. And then I have the Warriors and the Hurricanes. And that's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the NBA and Stanley Cup playoff games. Look ahead to tomorrow night's action. Baseball, NHL mock draft, and my best bet and any other news that happens in the world of sports. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.